Now let's look at the only move that long time was thought creates some problems for black, and in many opening books, authors recommend to play it for white. The move is Rook b1. What's the idea? As we already know, the challenge is to develop c1 bishop, or in order to do it, play b3 at first. So white is immediately doing it. Now if knight b6, white can play b3, and now rook is already on b1 and is not hanging it. Knight f5 is not possible. So after rook b1 we should play queen a5. Bishop d2. Instead of bishop d2, if white plays queen c2, then knight b6 strong move. We're attacking the d5 pawn. If rook d1, it will be transposed. We looked already this in the queen c2 section. After queen c2, knight b6, there is interesting tactics for white. It's knight d4. Knight's coming to c6, and if take with d4, b4, and queen is trapped. Looks strong, right? Unfortunately for white, knight d4 is not working, because after cd4, b4, we have counter tactic, is very strong move, bishop d3. Now if white take our queen, we take his, rook b6, and we are piece up. So after bishop d3, we should take queen d3, but now queen a6 strong move. Queen d4 is not possible because of knight fd5. After queen a6, if b5, then queen a5, queen d4, still not possible, knight fd5, queen a5, knight e4, then knight fd5, we took back the pawn, a2 pawn is hanging, and white is in problem. Otherwise, knight d4 would be a very strong move. So it was queen c2 move, we play knight b6. Let's go to main line, queen a5, bishop d2. Here in the theory there are many moves, and with my friend GM Zavan we looked at this position very long time to find what is the best, and finally we could do it. So I will immediately show it to you so you don't suffer so much as we had to find the best move. The move here is bishop b7. Very strong move. What's the idea? We are doing everything to provocate white to play e4, and after that our bishop happily goes back to a6. So let's look some queen c2. We cannot take the d5 because of this pin. So we play queen a7. Now we already want to take on d5. And white need to play e4. But after e4, bishop is coming back on a6. Rook on f1 is hanging, rook fd1, and knight g4. Next move we want to play c4, and queen, knight, or after c4 if white played bishop e1, then knight c5. So knight g4, white should play h3, not to let us to play c4, become knight e5, knight e5, knight e5. Now we want bishop d3. If bishop e3 now, then knight c4. Next move rook fb8, and we have very strong compensation. If knight e5, bishop e1, then c4 and knight e3. Next move rook fb8, and still we have very strong compensation. After bishop b7, you may ask a good question: why not to play h3? So after queen a7, e4, now we cannot play knight g4. But the problem here is that bishop a6, and after rook e1, bishop d3, very strong move. That's why we played queen c2, not to let that bishop d3 move. And after rook c1, c4, rook fb8, bishop d3 is staying there very strong. So after bishop b7, everything is fine for black. We have very good compensation. Myself, I would be very happy to play this position for black.